Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I wanted to take a minute of your time to talk about Assetto Corsa Competizione versus Gran Turismo versus Forza, and what this experience means to me. So today started off like any other sim racing morning when I usually get up on the weekends, and that's the first thing I want to do is I want to jump in the seat. I want to do some racing. Well, today I was feeling like, man, I need to give Gran Turismo 7 VR another chance, and I did one freaking lap on Nordschleife, and then I did a practice race, or I did a race on Nordschleife. Then I went over to Watkins Glen. I did a race there. For some reason, on those two tracks are very fun for me to get in there practice. I like to drive those ones. Those are a couple of my favorites. So when I get onto Gran Turismo, that's like the first thing I think of is like, yeah, Nordschleife. I want to do the Nordschleife. So I jump on there. I'm in my Corvette C7R. And I'm racing, and I'm just, and I'm feeling the track, and I'm like, okay, I guess maybe this doesn't feel too terrible. I can do it. And then I was like, you know what, man, I want to see what Assetto Corsa Competizione feels like, after really like sitting there thinking about the force feedback of Gran Turismo 7 and how that felt to me. So I boot up Assetto Corsa Competizione, and I'm just like, man, immediately once I got in here and I'm on Kailami and I'm doing these laps, I did 20 freaking 1 laps today on Kailami without even really thinking about it. I think I was at like 13 or 12, 11, 12 laps when I actually paused it and started recording it so that I could make this video, because I honestly do believe that if I only had Assetto Corsa Competizione with the Nordschleife in it, if they brought the Nordschleife to Assetto Corsa Competizione, man, I don't know if I would ever play any other sim racing game again. To be completely honest with you, I have all of my sim racing games over on, excluding rally games, track racing games. I don't feel like you're gonna find an experience that feels like Assetto Corsa Competizione. I don't think they're ever gonna come to console. I don't think there's ever, like, Gran Turismo 7. Man, I'm even a little bit worried about Forza Motorsport after seeing that gameplay and stuff. And I get it. I know the guy was on the controller. I know he was on the controller. But I mean, Forza 7 force feedback and stuff, it doesn't really feel that great. I mean, it's, when you start looking at Forza Horizon 5, I mean, it's playable, but it doesn't feel anywhere near as good as what Assetto Corsa Competizione feels like. On here, like when you're playing Assetto Corsa and you start to make a mistake, like the force feedback in your wheel is so good that most of the time you can recover. Like, what your car's doing, and it's really hard to explain, but once you get in there, like, it is intimidating at first starting out on Assetto Corsa Competizione, like very intimidating, because it doesn't feel like anything you've ever played before. It doesn't. Like, when you're sitting there and you're on the edge and you're feeling like you're pushing and you're pushing, man, like, it'll let you know that, like, hey man, you over pushed, and it knocks you back down. And it's, for me, it's like this internal struggle with Assetto Corsa Competizione. I want to get better, I want to get faster, but every time I make a mistake and it lets me know, every time I try to push and it lets me know, it knocks me back into my comfort zone. And that struggle, just that struggle alone with the Assetto Corsa Competizione is more powerful than any experience I've ever gotten out of any other racing game that I've played to date. Forza, like, whatever, it feels like it's fun, it's great, it's incredible, definitely better than Gran Turismo in a lot of aspects. But then there's also Gran Turismo that teaches you, but it's still so arcadey that it breaks that immersion. It never really pushes you to get better. It gives you the tools, and it gives you the the knowledge, and like Polyphony Digital is very good about setting up the giving you the racing information, giving you like the licensing tests and all of that stuff. Like, they're really good at that, but the underlying game is so arcadey that it never really forces you to have to learn to get any better. Whereas Assetto Corsa, like I'm saying, guys, every time I start pushing it and I screw up, it knocks me back into that safety mode, and I'm like into that comfort zone to where I'm just, where I'm following the track and I'm staying on the racing line, and I might not be going fast enough, or I might be in the wrong gear, or things that consistently tweak and change how you drive and how you feel that experience. It's like a tug of war. It's a tug of war for me to be able to get better. Like on this Kailami track, I was able to stay inbounds the whole time. Well, I did mess up one time, but it started making me more conservative with my racing again. And to feel that, to get into like any track on Assetto Corsa Competizione, and the cars feel real, and the sense of speed feels nice, and that's why I drive with this FOV. That's why I drive with this FOV. It gives me a greater sense of speed than having the window like really close to me. So it forces me to actually look for my braking zones, and I am doing that like a real racer would be doing with this overall force, this overall FOV. It helps me understand the track layout a lot better. I can see, for me, it's great. If I look right down into where you can see just above the steering wheel right there, if you're focused on that area, it helps you. It kind of gives you a greater sense of awareness, at least for me anyways. I have a better sense of track awareness why I'm in this FOV, and it's incredible. And this is essentially about the same FOV you're going to have if you're playing this in VR. Like, I really need Assetto Corsa Competizione to come to PSVR 2 so that the overall value for my headset is better. Like, we're not getting F1 2023 this year. We're probably not going to be getting WRC when it comes out from Codemasters, and that is extremely disappointing for me. Like, at least for WRC, because that's made by Codemasters. Dirt Rally 2 feels incredible on this Fanatec setup. Feels incredible on the Camus setup. I don't know, man. Ever since I've really gotten into the direct drive experience, that really has changed. Before, like, Assetto Corsa wasn't really that great on the Thrustmaster TX, but then fast forward to now with the Fanatec DD Pro or even the Camus, man, it's a night and day difference, to the point where, man, I can literally feel everything, and the experience is so much better than it's ever been before. Gran Turismo definitely needs to work on a more serious driving model and force feedback for Gran Turismo, because if their fans start playing Assetto Corsa and they invest in like a Fanatec DD Pro or any of these other, direct drive wheels, they're quickly going to move away from that game. They're going to leave it in the dust. No pretty visuals is going to keep them there. Like, it's not. I literally played like I do every time I get in there, and I try to do it 10 freaking minutes. I lasted, maybe a little more than 10 minutes because it was 2 races. But 6.5 minutes for Nordschleife, and then another, 4 or 5 minutes for Watkins Glen 3-lap race. And then I was right back over to Assetto Corsa Competizione. Right back over. And then I sat here for for at least 21 laps at 2 minutes a pop almost. That's a pretty good session for me in the morning. And if I wouldn't be making this video, I would still be over there playing it. And it's probably what I'm going to do after this, is probably jump back on. But man, I'm at a crossroads with buying all of these racing games. I'm at a crossroads. Do I just Do I just, I mean, like, I'm going to buy Forza, and if that's disappointing, like, if it doesn't live up and it doesn't give me a better experience than what Gran Turismo does, I'll probably just keep waiting until Assetto Corsa 2, man. Assetto Corsa 2 will be out in 2024 sometime, so there's that. There's Slightly Mad Studios working on Straight 4 or Straight 4 or something, some other racing game that they're doing. Kind of using the like, it's almost like they're using the the graphics from not graphics, but like design, like label design for Project Cars, but moving it over to a different type of experience. Because I mean, I think Bandai Namco had the rights to Project Cars, so now that they're Codemasters and with the EA, they gotta switch that out. So I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what to say. My whole world of racing has been turned upside down because of Assetto Corsa Competizione. Like, I can't get into these other racing games. The only saving grace is rally games, honestly. Like, rally games, I love rally. That's probably my favorite discipline when it comes to sim racing is rally, and I'm getting significantly better at those as well. But I do 100% prefer the Camus Direct Drive on the WRC games over the Fanatec. I sat here yesterday before I went to bed and I was playing around with that. I was playing around with the Fanatec, you know, setting things up a little more, turning off the smoothness, all of that, and it still just doesn't feel that good on WRC. Like, I just can't get that same feeling that I get from Camus. And that's disappointing, man. That's disappointing. That's very disappointing that I can't get a consistent experience out of the Fanatec, where I do get a consistent experience literally out of the box with the Camus. Like, the Camus feels good on everything across all these different games. So that's really cool, man. I hope that Camus can really make a name for itself. I hope that they can, you know, provide, you know, a DD or a direct drive experience for consoles in the future. I hope that is possible, because I do like their products. I think they are significantly better than most of the stuff I've ever used in my life. I mean, that's pretty bad. No, this is not a Camus thing. It's just talking about my racing experience. Now, I love Assetto Corsa Competizione. I play this game extremely often when I get in here. When I try to play anything else, like Assetto Corsa just kind of takes me on a journey that feels rewarding enough to keep me coming back, because it really does test my limits. It really does improve me. It makes me better, whereas everything else, I just don't feel like I'm getting that type of an experience from those games. So, all right, my friends, there was like 2 more laps that I recorded on this. I'm gonna go ahead and jump out at this. I mean, this is getting to be a pretty long video of me just complaining about about my console games, but I don't know, man. I love Assetto Corsa Competizione, and I just don't feel like there's anything else that's gonna come close to getting this level of immersion in the arcade sim racing space, because they're all more worried about making it acceptable for everybody that it's ruining it for literally everyone. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, man. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.